Well, thank you, Ayo. The issues as contained in our review of the presidency are mostly protracted ones, Ayo, revolving around security and, critically, the provision of infrastructure. And in this report we're about to show you, we illuminate the three focal areas of economy, corruption and insecurity that the current administration set out to address in 2015 and some of the efforts undertaken by the federal government in the last 1 year. Let's take a look at this report.
My fellow countrymen and women.
The year began with strong declarations by the president designed to reinvigorate hope.
We saw this year put to test our national resilience.
The president illuminated three focus areas for 2021: security, the economy and anti-corruption. Events that unfolded days after was a testament that the president was out to translate those words into action, beginning with the appointment of new service chiefs, and his mandate to them was to address the surge in insecurity. Every year typically has a few defining moments, and the last one was no exception. The federal government took delivery of its first batch of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine on March 2, and President Muhammadu Buhari was among the first persons to receive the jab, primarily to quell nationwide hesitancy. If the event of the first week of March was a high watermark for Nigeria, the spate of abductions that followed in the days after certainly doused it. The federal government promised that the over 300 student abduction in Zamfara would be the last. But months down the line, reality hit differently, raising questions about the military strategy.
To solve the problem of insecurity effectively, you need to cut off the supply chain. What is the supply chain? Poverty and unemployment. If you don't deal with that, even if you have all the technologies in this world, it will be compromised.
The president swung into more action by April, convening several security meetings, ordering the service chiefs to identify leaders of the bandits and proposing 396 billion naira for the procurement of additional military hardware as well as COVID-19 vaccines. These steps were taken as the nation was exiting her second recession in 5 years. The weekly Federal Executive Council meeting was held virtually for most of the period under review. It gave major approvals, including a 20% upward review of police salary, the tax credit scheme to boost infrastructure, approval of the National Development Plan, $1.5 billion contract for the rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt refinery, as well as $1.48 billion for that of the Warri and Kaduna refinery. Other major presidential assents and approvals include the signing of the Petroleum Industry Bill into law in August, the 2021 Finance Bill, 982 billion supplementary budget into law as the president withheld assent to the Electoral Amendment Bill. Less than 2 years left in his administration, President Buhari made several international visits to the United Kingdom, France, Turkey and New York for the United Nations General Assembly, where he championed calls for more support towards addressing corruption and insecurity. In a most assertive move, the president by the second half of 2021 sacked 2 of his ministers, that of Power and Agriculture, for the first time since 2015, and subsequently took time to review the performance of each ministry.
You must bear in mind that the National Economic Council, your governing council, and Nigerians as a whole will hold you accountable for this mandate.
The last 1 year has contained so many paradigm-shifting developments that has continued to redefine the country's activities. In 2021, it was for the first time we saw the president consider giving pardon to IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu and also a posthumous pardon to 9 Ogoni activists, including Ken Saro-Wiwa, 26 years after they were executed.
Again, in keeping with his promise to maintain a January to December budget cycle, the president signed the 17.126 trillion naira 2022 appropriation bill into law, even though it was with a lot of displeasure over major changes made by the National Assembly. With less than 17 months before the current administration wraps up, what critically resonates for the presidency is effectively continuing with the fulfillment of the three-pronged mandate of quelling insecurity, tackling corruption, and lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty through a thriving economy. From the presidential villa, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Well, let's quickly join Ayotunde in Lagos for more on the news at 10.
So let's now take a further look on our review of the presidency in the year 2021. And we are now being joined by a Professor of Public Administration, Professor Isaac Obasi. Glad to have you on the news at 10. How would you assess the performance of the presidency in 2021, Professor?
Well, thank you, Ayo. It's a loaded year of activities. I will simply say that a lot of activities took place in terms of what we regard as output in policy studies. But Nigerians are more interested in the outcome of those policy outputs. It is in that side of it that you get transformational impact on the lives of people. We can say that the activities that took place under the president last year were incremental, building on things that already have started. But the problem Nigeria's system or situation or governance in general has is that the trajectory is not delivering transformational successes or impacts. And so if we make incremental impact, it's not transformational enough. Let me use the slogan that this APC used the second time when they were seeking renewal of their tenure. Take Nigeria to the next level. So many Nigerians will say, oh, my life has not moved to the next level, and because of it. So even if you list 100 achievements, as the Minister of Information did last time, people will say, how does this affect me? And these are what people will be looking at. So let's use that as an entry point to say, more of outputs are there, but what we call the outcome are yet to feel. Nigerians are yet to feel more of the outcome.
Now, the president has less than 17 months to the end of his tenure, and in view of the fact that this year is going to be, preoccupied with political activities, do you see the presidency making any significant progress on its agenda?
Yes, I have to be optimistic because Nigerians need to be hopeful to be able to get along with life. If we are pessimistic, that would be terrible. The pressure will be much on him to deliver. And there are many areas, the economy, the security, the anti-corruption. These are tripods which he himself fixed since he came to power. So everybody's watching to see how. He himself said the other day that it is possible to achieve this, within 17 months. And if that is a statement from the presidency, one will be hoping that indeed they will not use politics as an excuse not to deliver. Because there are many things that have started, like I said, that have not transformed into outcome. People want to see their life, move to the next level. I give you a simple example. 33% of Nigerians are unemployed. We translate to about 28.17 million Nigerians. So whatever you say you have achieved, and many people are still unemployed, they will not see that as a significant achievement. You go to inflation, even though it has been declining, incrementally over the quarters, but inflation of 15.40% is still very high. And people, if you say it's declining, they want to see it in the foodstuffs and things they buy in the market. So these are the issues that are involved. Not necessarily that the government is not doing anything. People are doing things. In the security realm, a lot of things have been said And for instance, in the review, Gloria Mexico, put forward this evening, we could see that a lot of things have been on the table. But people want to see how does that reflect. If I want to travel to Kaduna, how, for instance, the jets that have been bought affect my security on the way. So people want to see that affecting their life. These are the kind of transformational impact that we expect the government, the administration to make in this last 11th hour of its period.
All right, Professor Isaac Obasi, Professor of Public Administration, thank you for your thoughts here on the News at 10.
Thank you. Ayo.